everyone, and welcome back to the Empowered Up podcast. Every episode, I give you an inside look into what happens here at Trinity Hall and the people who make it happen. My name is Chloe Toole. I'm the communications coordinator here at Trinity Hall, and I'm also an alumna who graduated in 2017 with the first ever graduating class. Today, I have the pleasure of welcoming 4 members of the Trinity Hall faculty and staff to talk about all things student trips. Since 2016, Trinity Hall has offered students the opportunity to travel both internationally and domestically over the summers as a follow-up to the experiential learning that they have in our curriculum. Since COVID put a pause on traveling together, we were able to offer a trip once again last year to Washington, D.C., but this is the first year after COVID that Trinity Hall is once again offering both international and domestic trips to the students. Our 3 trips this year are to Washington, D.C., Costa Rica, and Europe, which entails traveling to both Spain and France. I thought we could start off by going around and having everyone introduce themselves and what they do here at Trinity Hall and what trip you're going on and what trips you've been on in the past. Start with you.
Okay, my name is Lynn Retterer. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions here at Trinity Hall. I'm going on the Europe trip this year, and it'll be my first international trip with Trinity Hall. Yay!
I'm Maryanne Kain. I teach French and Spanish here at Trinity Hall. Last year I went on the Washington, D.C. trip. In 2019 I went on the Europe trip, and I'm privileged to go on the Europe trip again in 2023.
Hello, my name is Anne-Sophie Delaunay-Lehman. I teach French at Trinity Hall. My first trip with Trinity Hall was in 2016, which was our inaugural trip to Costa Rica. Then we went to Montreal for spring break 2018, and this will be my 3rd Europe trip.
Good afternoon. My name is Rosa Madriz. I'm the business manager and HR officer at Trinity Hall. I had the privilege of going to Costa Rica in 2019. Last year I had again the privilege to go to Washington, D.C., and this year I'm going back to Costa Rica.
Awesome. And I will also be going on a trip this year. This will be my 2nd year going to Washington, D.C. So our first question, which any of you can answer, is can you explain what the purpose of bringing our students on experiential trips is? And what do students gain from going on trips with Trinity Hall?
Well, they are able to expand on what they learn in the classroom. So we can tell them about the language, we can talk about the culture, we can talk about the food, we can talk about the people. But once they experience it, it becomes relevant to them and real to them. And there's nothing more satisfying than seeing the students speak the language and be understood and order in French or order in Spanish. So I think it gives them self-confidence and a new perspective on what life is like outside Trinity Hall, outside New Jersey. And I think
America.
And America, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rewarding to see them step out of their comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And I love how in France, our French students will be teaching some French words or expressions to our Spanish students, and when we're in Spain, vice versa. It's a very, very amazing experience for them and for us, faculty and staff.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you both because for me, when we got to Costa Rica in 2019, to be able to see the students leave the classes, leave the school, and go with the families all by themselves. They were a set of 2 that went to families, and they just practiced the Spanish. And they came back so excited talking about everything that they experienced. And so they were able to communicate and really get to see the culture. And that's something that you can't get in the classroom. It's good to go out and do it.
Yeah, I feel like it's so important to see them blossom as both speakers and as just people learning new cultures and all that. So I think you all touched a little bit on what you guys do on the trips. So maybe from each trip, if you want to talk about what is on your itinerary for the upcoming trips this summer, if you just want to talk about where you're going and maybe a little bit of what you're doing.
So, for example, for the Europe trip, we'll be first going to Paris for 3 days, and then 1 day in Normandy and 4 days in Barcelona. So in Paris, they'll be going to different sightseeings and main monuments, and we'll hope to attend a mass as well. They'll have in Normandy, they'll go to the landing beaches and have a guided tour of the American cemetery. While in Spain, they'll have a tapas where they'll be able to cook for them and for us. Like it's
Yay.
a-
Yeah.
and then eat the delicious dinner and also have a dancing class before going to watch a flamenco show. So it's a variety of activities that like really are aligned with our mission and philosophy.
What about for Costa Rica?
Costa Rica is more of a service trip. And this year we're going to be working with senior centers and schools. Not last year we just spent time with the schools. This year I'm really excited to go and serve our seniors, and we go to this very small town in Costa Rica that is still very preserved as it was Costa Rica like 50 years ago. So it's really nice. It's very country, quiet, and so we'll be doing community service most of the time. The girls will be learning how to cook Costa Rican food. We'll be doing zip lining and just doing different arts and crafts from Costa Rica.
That's awesome.
Do you zip line too?
Yes,
Oh,
it's so
wow.
excited.
So Costa Rica actually invented
It's so
zipline.
nice.
We learned
That's
that
so
the first
cool.
the first trip.
So much fun. I love
Yeah,
it.
That is
Me
so
too.
Oh my
cool.
gosh.
I loved it.
For you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you, Rosie.
And for Washington, D.C., it's also a service trip. So the first day we'll be doing service. And then the second and third day are touring monuments, touring some of the museums. We're going to the Holocaust Memorial Museum. And then also like touring a basilica, another, a big church that's on Catholic University's campus, which is so underrated. It's
Yeah, it is.
amazing.
It
It
is.
is.
It's
Yeah.
a beautiful
Beautiful.
cathedral. Yes.
Yeah, so with all the trips, it's so nice that, I feel like the international trips are a little more immersive into the different cultures, but they really get a historical point of view and also like, the fun of it. Fun of, exploring Barcelona and France and Costa Rica, but there's different aspects to all trips.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that is particularly with the DC trip last year, they had such a great sense of accomplishment after the service that they did. They really were just amazed at what needed to be done and the amount of work that they did do. It really was for them. It really was so rewarding, and I think it gave them an appreciation for what they have and what needs that there are out there.
And
Yeah.
it exposed them to the need that we have here in this
True.
country.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Yes,
we don't
exactly.
really think of.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that because, at the places we did service, it was kind of hard to see. We were doing so much labor.
Right.
It
Yes.
was very labor intensive.
Yes.
We were outside.
Yes.
We were sweating.
Yep.
I mean, there's no way around it. We were in the
We
heat.
were.
But they really didn't see, all of the work that they were putting in. But
Right.
they really seemed fulfilled and really
They did.
took it very seriously.
They certainly did,
Yeah.
and teamwork too, because we got so much done.
Mhm.
When you think about how many baskets of food that we really prepared, it was amazing.
It was. It was great. So, does anyone have any other favorite memories about when students surprised you or maybe fully embraced the immersive experience they were having on the trip?
I'm just thinking when I actually went
Yeah.
to Costa Rica
Yeah.
first year.
Yeah.
Like I want to go back. One day when I don't lead the trip to Europe, I would love to. I just remember all the smiles of the children at the school, and our students, like realized that, we were there to help, but like to see how another community lived, they helped us too. Understand, like what's really important in our life. I remember making bubbles with the children, playing soccer, playing the real piñata, with the blindfolded and with the big stick. I just feel like when we came together, and we also explained how like each culture has a different way to greet others, and we had explained how like the families are probably going to want to like hug them, and how some girls who were more reserved went ahead and gave the either like
So
those
nice.
besos and two
Yeah.
kisses.
Yes.
And they were okay. Some were more like reluctant and they shook hands, but no one was like, oh, what are they doing? And I feel like I like how they were embracing the differences, but also similarities. And that's what we want the girls to be, like global citizens. It's not just to know what's out there, but like how to be, the etiquette, how to be when you're there.
Yeah.
I really enjoy watching the kids, the students interact with the little kids in the primary school.
that's
They
so
went,
nice.
and they were helping them with their arts, and they were playing soccer. And even Mrs. Fairchild was playing soccer with all the students. That to me was like heartwarming to see them interact without the language barrier.
Yeah. It's great. It's just like human connection.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Any from Europe?
You know, one thing I remember too, I just thought of this, is that we had such a wonderful guide in France. And the girls were really so interested in his life. They were interested in his family. He was very open and shared so many experiences with his experience with them. But he was, I mean, they were really just so genuinely interested in his life, his daughter, and it warmed my heart. It really did.
Talking about that, the group that I went with in 2019, we were actually able to go to my hometown. As you know, I'm from Costa Rica. And the girls were really interested in getting to know my family. So it was really nice when they got to meet my mom and most of my sisters and brothers. And when we came back, they all talk about how nice it was to meet my family and go to the church where I was baptized and that kind of thing. So,
and didn't you feel also, you were telling me how you felt like since you're in the office, you're not a teacher, you're not with the students, that you really got to know the girls, from another point of view, and then sharing your home with them was really
that must have been wonderful.
special.
It was amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I feel very blessed to be able to do this because, as Lynn said, we don't get the opportunity to spend time with our girls, and so it's a really nice thing.
I was going to say both of you, Rosie and Anne-Sophie, you get to bring students to your home countries.
Right.
It's so special.
So I always say, make
special.
us proud. Like, you know, be
Yes.
like the way you'll be at Trinity Hall. And also, because you're going to France, it is my home country, so make me proud. But every time, like on every trip, and we've taken the girls, they've been amazing, you know, like, and even like people would compliment on how they were and how they spoke and, you know, like just their demeanor.
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
Yeah, the school that hostess, they were very impressed by our girls and how they handle themselves. They said that they don't see that often. Right. So that makes us feel very proud.
It makes for an easier trip too.
And I think that was a compliment that we got last year too, because some of the places that we went to in DC last year, they couldn't believe how fast and how well the girls worked. That they didn't, in some of the places they didn't have enough for them to do because our girls work so efficiently. So
I feel like that area is very compact with a lot of school trips, so it's nice to be complimented. We're in a place that has a lot of groups coming through. Yeah. All right, Lynn.
Yes.
So Lynn has not been on an international trip with Trinity Hall yet. So what are you most excited for, and what are you looking forward to?
I'm to see the Eiffel Tower. No, everything.
That's a good one.
Exactly. I might faint. No, I'm waiting my whole life to go. So I really feel fortunate, and like Rosie, you know, we don't necessarily see the girls that much, but I mean, I do see them from when they come in the door in admissions, you know, and this will be exciting because now I can tell them about the trip. But what I'm excited about is that, well, first of all, I have so many questions, like, because I haven't gone, so it's probably all the questions that they have and their parents have, like, on the meetings, you know, so I'm probably driving these guys crazy, but all my questions, but I'm really excited, so I feel like I'm sharing the girls' excitement, and they're excited, they're like, Mrs. Retterer, are you getting excited? Did you get new shoes? Like, what's your bag look like, you know, like, so they're really exciting, and to not know and to share this experience. It's going to be great, too, because they speak Spanish and French so well through our curriculum here, and I don't, so that's going to be, you know, I might be the chaperone, but they're gonna have to, you know, and translate to me,
and they will,
right? And I mean, I've done Duolingo, and I took Spanish in high school. It was a really long time ago, but I'm excited. I'm just excited to experience it, and I haven't traveled to these places before, and to do it for the first time with the girls and with my coworkers is going to be really exciting.
Yeah,
so I'm really looking forward to it.
That's something that I really like how we do it at Trinity Hall too. With it's not just faculty, it's not just the world language, it's everyone.
Right. Me too.
So we need everyone's expertise. I remember during the 2017 trip, one of our coworkers, we had some dilemma with the bus when we were there, and her organization skills came so handy, and it was a instant. She didn't even think about it twice, but that's why I think it's nice to all travel together. That it's not just you're a teacher, I'm not. Right. When we're on the trip, the students look at us like we're the chaperones, we're in charge, and they're really respectful about that. But it's nice to see.
I definitely felt that last year on the Washington, D.C. trip. We were definitely a mix of different positions at the school, and we all brought something different to the team.
Right.
So it was great.
Right.
So it was
And
great.
even don't we have someone on the Normandy trip has family there? Don't we?
Yes.
Yes,
we
well,
do.
So
when you
that's
go to the
exciting.
American cemetery in Normandy, they ask if someone, like in the group had like a grandfather, or it could be like a grandmother, great grandmother, great uncle who was buried there, and they have a special ceremony that they do, and it's really great, and that takes me to like history, like we've had
Yeah.
been like blessed to have like history teachers, so they'll
Right,
give mini like history lessons on the way there. We do have guides, some guided tours, but the others it's like on our own too, and our teachers always bring something amazing, either linguistically or like for the history part of it.
Yeah. I was going to ask, are you going to see any of the same people that you've seen in the past on any of your trips?
So our two guides are not we have two different guys.
Because I know you loved.
Yes, the first Laurent is his
Laurent,
name, but
oui.
he has another full-time job now that he's an engineer. He's like actually a sound engineer.
Wow.
And he was doing the trips on the side, but he has become very busy. But some students have asked, are we going to have so and so, because our girls talk to each other. But we'll probably see the hotel in actually Normandy. It's the same hotel.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
It's really familiar for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And they do a blog, right, at the end of every day.
Every day.
So
Every
the
day.
families at home know
Yes.
exactly
Yeah.
what we did, and that's almost
Yes.
like a travel log for us too, that we
Yes.
can remember.
Yeah.
And
There's
there's
so
so
much
much
memory.
It's great for them.
Yeah.
Really. It's a diary for them. They can look back on it and say, oh, I did this. And especially if they want to study abroad, they'll say, oh my goodness, I went here. This was I remember we went here. So
Yeah.
I think it's great all around.
It does instill something. It's contagious.
Yeah.
Yes, traveling, right?
What about you, Rosie?
We're gonna work this with Javier again, our
Nice.
guide, and we're going to the same town. But as I said before, we're gonna service different communities.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So it'd be nice to see some of the same people.
yes,
but
we're
your-
staying in the same hotel, in the same
Nice.
casitas.
But your outreach will be bigger this time. Which
Yes,
is awesome.
exactly. Yeah.
So, anything else you're looking forward to on the trips? Any other things that you're excited to see again, or maybe with a new group, you're excited for them to maybe experience again?
I just like to see how the girls respond to the first time, as Lynn was saying, seeing the Eiffel Tower, or I remember in 2019 when we went to see the Eiffel Tower, the students people having a picnic,
Oh,
and
that
this was not on the itinerary, but we decided the day before we left Paris, we went to a supermarket and we added that before we returned to the hotel. We had an impromptu picnic by the Eiffel Tower. And that's
So
special.
cool. Yeah.
That's something
Yeah.
very easy. That's not,
Yes.
not at risk at all. It's
Yeah.
just we're right there together, and they sang, and it was just nice because they want to do what the Parisians do.
Yeah.
When in Paris.
They do. Yeah. I just love to see them when they speak the language, and how
Yes.
they and the feeling of satisfaction and achievement that I did it, I ordered, they understood me. It's just wonderful. And as I said, we talk about these things in the classroom, but they have to experience it, and it's so wonderful. I just love watching them. I agree with Anne-Sophie. I love watching them.
And they make connections. They're like,
Yes.
oh, in history class we did this.
Yes,
In
yes,
English class,
exactly.
theology, and it
Yeah.
becomes a whole, and it's it's nice.
Yeah.
And talking about connections, some of the girls that went in 2019 have kept in touch with the families.
Oh,
That's
That's
to them.
amazing.
Wow.
Because one thing that they do is during lunch, we go to different homes to have lunch. And so they started a relationship and they have kept up. Some of the girls tell me, Mrs. Madriz, when I graduated from college, we have to go back to Costa Rica. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my
I'm
gosh,
like,
that's
yeah,
so sweet.
sure. So
Reunion.
that's really nice to see that they make the connections. And for me, seeing the girls interact with everyone there and give the people the love and receive the love from the people, that's what I'm most excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's wonderful for your family to see where you are and who you work with, and it must be great for them too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We are not going to the same hometown where my parents live, but we're going to be close to
Right.
where I'm from, and so maybe they'll come and visit for a little bit.
Yeah.
because I can't leave the group. So
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really, yes.
But we are gonna eat dinner at one of my brother's restaurants. So.
Oh,
yes.
that's
Oh,
awesome.
great.
So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to the food.
Yeah, I was gonna
Everyone
Yeah,
keeps
it's
telling
pretty
me all the
amazing.
people who
It's
went
pretty
before
amazing.
say it's
Amazing.
amazing.
Oh,
so
it's amazing. It really
yeah, I'm
is.
ready.
Yeah.
I might not be able to order it, but they can order for
They
me.
can order for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I am
Exactly.
sure
They do
you
speak
can order
English.
it, Lynn.
They do
Yeah,
speak
I know.
English,
I
too.
know
Yeah.
you could do it.
I know. Spain, France, I don't know.
You've been doing your Duolingo.
I have been.
And I'm excited for Washington, D.C. I mean, you all know I went to college there, so I'm
Absolutely.
Don't you
very...
stay in the dorms there?
We do. We stay at Catholic University, which is also another kind of plus for the girls. Because most of our girls this
Yes.
year are freshmen and sophomores, so most of them have never stayed in a college dorm.
That's
So
a
it's like a
C.
little
Yeah.
little bonus thing that they get to
It's
do.
a
Like
nice college.
it is.
It really is. And Chloe was such a great navigator
Yes.
last year, and it was so great to have somebody who knew, well, let's go this way, or it was just great for all of us.
Yeah, it was something that was so fun last year was that after doing a day of service and then another day of walking around DC, we did
Yeah.
monument tours and
Yeah.
Smithsonian's. The girls were so tired by
Oh,
the
they
third
were.
day.
Oh,
And because I went to college there, I had gone to the Botanical Gardens, which is just on the outside of the National Mall. And I was like, we need I think Melissa Fairchild said, we need something that's like not as intense.
right. Yes.
And I was like, what about the Botanical Gardens? So we just like decided to add it as our like
Yes,
last
yeah.
Smithsonian to go to. And everyone enjoyed it.
Oh,
I
they
mean,
loved
so
it.
beautiful.
Loved it.
It was
Yeah,
great.
It was great.
it was
And
so
then-
fun.
And they
Yep.
were their friends too. Like that's another
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
But that's special to go. It's very special to go away with your family, but when you're with your friends,
oh.
other adults, I think we, like they.
Yeah.
It's
And they learn
It's
from that too. They learn how to share, and they learn it's kind of a a prerequisite to college. Where
It
they
is.
have a
Yes.
roommate, and
Yes.
they
go by the European standards. We had some fun stories where since I had to share like smaller bedroom, like the shower, everything is smaller, everything, I think it's important for the students to be exposed to that.
Yeah.
great.
And
It's like a little bit of independence.
yes.
Right.
Some of
Yeah.
them it's their first time that they travel alone.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
patience,
Yes.
cooperation, independence, all
Yes.
those things they learn from
Timeliness.
student travel.
Yeah.
Time, time,
Yes.
punctuality.
Waking up for the
Exactly.
breakfast.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's not a vacation.
It's not.
It's a working
It's-
trip. It's
But
For
we're
get
gonna
up early in the
yes,
morning.
Yes.
Yes.
and go to bed late, and then they have tasks each day.
Yes.
They choose one leader, and then that person has to at the end of the day do the blog and all that stuff. So it is work,
It is.
but
For
it's
us,
a lot
we
of
do
fun.
we walk about 10 miles.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
10 miles a day. We teach them how to navigate through
Right.
like the cities,
The
through
subways.
the subways.
Right.
That's most of them have never taken
Mm-hmm.
the subway, or it's like it's an experience.
It is.
I was surprised in the last meeting we had for the Washington, D.C. group. There's a lot of girls that haven't been to Washington, D.C. So that'll be very exciting. And I'm sure all of you are in the same boat because I'm not sure if any of the girls have been to Europe or Costa Rica. And like we were saying, maybe not without their family. So
Yeah.
it's going to be so exciting.
It
It's
is.
going to be great.
It's good for the soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Wait.
It's definitely a highlight.
Yeah.
It's totally a great way to end the school year, right?
So we're hoping for the best.
Yes.
I can't wait to hear about all
Yes.
the
Oh, yeah.
adventures and
Yes.
memories and stories from it. And I'll be sure to keep up with the blog.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be great. Can't wait.
I love looking at the albums too.
Oh, I do
Yes.
too. I do too.
Because
yes.
we have a Google photo album and everyone shares. So like what we take as pictures that we take as adults from like teenagers and different angle, different personality, and we have amazing photos from the girls. I would
Yeah.
say that.
Oh yeah.
So thank you all so much for joining us. It was so great having you here to get your different perspectives on our trips. And I wish you all the best and good luck on your trips as they approach. And I can't wait to hear about all the different memories and experiences that you have. Thank you all for tuning in to the Empowered Up podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. For those that are listening on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe. And if you're listening on SoundCloud, please also give us a follow on there. And keep an eye out for our next episode. And thank you so much for listening.